And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Friday, November 8th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is a Friday morning. We got a frosty Friday here this morning. Not a lot of frost, but there's some out there, I must warn you. And the temperature is a little bit cooler than it's been for a while. We are on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust, and Brandy Goodall is with us this morning to do the commercial and talk about what she does. Brandy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you again. I hope things are going well.
Everything's going great.
Staying busy?
Staying busy.
Yep. Well, you, some people would probably say and think that you have a cushy job. You do a lot of traveling. You get all these travel parties together and go to all over the world, really.
We do. We travel all over, but we have fun. Cushy, I don't know, but fun for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's primarily what you want to talk about this morning. We haven't rehearsed much, but that's kind of your job, and you get to take people, and I imagine a lot of them are older, senior citizens a lot of times who go to these places.
A lot of them are retired, but we have some that take their vacation, that still work, that travel with us and on some of our trips. And so we love any ages. Right now, 18 and older can travel with us. But yes, the majority of them are all retired. So.
Well, now you have had some banking experience. You were once a teller or...
I was at the bank, at Wilson Bank, for 10 years before I came to do this 4 years ago.
Yeah. I hope you haven't regretted the move.
No, we have a great time. I love it.
All right. Well, tell us what you got for us this morning.
We are starting our preview parties for 2020 trips next Thursday. Will be our first one. And so we're just excited to get our information out. Everyone's already asking, where are you going? What places are we going to see? And so we're going to put that out. Hopefully Thursday will be our first one. And we have a great attendance already RSVP'd. We have over 200 that are coming to that 2 o'clock slot.
Are you filled up?
We can take a few more. So if you want to come, just call the main office and we can get you signed up. But we have them in every region. So if you live in Hartsville or Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, all of the regions have their own parties.
So you're going to do a party at all of those different places?
We will.
But you start here.
We do. We kick it off here next Thursday at 2 o'clock at the Operations Center.
How many different tours do you usually have in a year's time? Or how many will you be previewing? Maybe I should ask that.
When I started 4 years ago, we did 6 overnight trips a year, and I have 12 next year.
Oh.
So
you're twice as big.
That's right. That's right. Well, the program has grown so much, and we have so many people wanting to travel that we have to expand and add new places, more buses. So we've had a great turnout.
Well, are you pretty much a one-person department here?
I have Talisha Silcox helps me at the main office, and then we are the 2 full-time, and then there are ones in every office that can help take reservations.
What goes into, you've got, and you wait till the preview party to say where you're going and all this, but I guess there are at least 1 or 2 really exotic trips here that are across the waters, as we'd say, in other lands, not the USA.
Right. Next year, we're going to Ireland. This year, we did Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, and so we had a great trip. It was fabulous. The weather was perfect, and then next year, we're heading to Ireland.
Why does the bank do this?
It's just to give back for our customers.
Well, it has worked really well, and especially if you're doing 12 now instead of 6.
That's right. That's right. It's just a good way to give back and grow relationships, for us to grow relationships with our customers, and then we like to see the relationships grow on the trips. A lot of ladies will travel together, and we like to see that. So,
do you feel extra responsibility or more pressure, let's say, especially if you go out of the country?
No, once we get there, everything is goes just as like we're here. It's just, there are a few extra steps that we have to go through customs and making sure everyone has a passport and their ID. Once we get them there, we want to be able to get them home. So, but yes, I mean, there are some extra things through the airport and that sort of thing, because a lot of our trips are by bus. And so once, getting 40 to 80 people through an airport can be challenging, but we do it.
And you have some shorter trips too, of those 12, I guess.
We do. We have just weekend trips. So if you do still work and you just want to take maybe a Friday off, a long weekend, we have those. We have some that are just a week long. So.
Okay, well, your preview party, again, next Thursday, you said?
That's the one at the main office, but if you live somewhere else, contact your coordinator.
Okay, and you've got room for a few more. And what's the best number to call? Just
you can call 443-6614.
Okay, 6614.
Or you can just call the main office.
All right. Then they will get you wherever you need to go.
Yes.
We got
I just told her to sign me up.
Okay, we're going to do it.
anything else before we let you go this morning?
That's it. We just appreciate everyone that travels with us, and we welcome new ones every day.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today. Brandy Goodall with Wilson Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. 10 minutes after the hour, and Jim Harding wants your seat. We you don't have to leave the building, but you got to let Jim have the seat. Jim Harding is here. Uncle Pete is here. Uncle Pete, good morning to you while Jim sits down.
Good morning, Wilson County and the surrounding areas. This portion of your program today is being brought to you live and in Technicolor by the veterans. Now, here's my old buddy. Will you lean forward? That's sort of thinning up there.
Well,
what's going on?
Well, I'm getting older, kind of like you. Instead of getting gray, I'm losing it.
You're going to have to figure out how our president combs his hair.
Nobody's done that yet.
Let's don't go there. We also have John Marshall with us this morning. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Now, I don't know whether you can put up with these other two or not, but you and I will try.
Yes, sir.
Well, we are going to be talking about Veterans Day today. And Jim Harding, I think you have assumed a new role somewhat.
Don't get around Bob Haley too much, because when he starts patting you on the back and complimenting you, the next thing I knew, I was chairman of the Veterans Day Committee. So been doing that, but it's a good committee. Everybody's very kind of committed to this. So that, and I'll be the master of ceremonies again.
Yeah. Well, Uncle Pete is here, of course, and we talk veterans with you about every month,
Yes,
for
sir.
a year or
Yes,
so, over a year.
Yep.
And but you always been big in the Veterans Day ceremony.
Oh, absolutely. And every year or so, we'll sidewind somebody and put them in charge of the parade. And
you help Bob.
we had already discussed it, and we flipped to see who got to tell him.
All right.
Bob lost.
Uncle Pete Norman, Commander, American Legion Post 15. Jim Harding is actually representing Mike Myers, President of the Vietnam Veterans of America Post, Vietnam Veterans of America, Post 1004. And as he said, Master of Ceremonies at the event. And John Marshall is the post commander of the VFW, Veterans of Foreign War, here in Lebanon. So, John, get your 2 cents in here. This is a big day, really, for veterans, and I think it's grown over the years. If my memory's right, we didn't do a whole lot of this till Don Fox became mayor, and at that point, ever since, we've paid a lot of attention to Veterans Day.
We have, Coleman. This Veterans Day program has really grown for Wilson County. I mean, as Wilson County grows, so does the veteran population in Wilson County. It started out as a small ceremony years ago, and now we've grown to a huge ceremony till we incorporate Mount Juliet and Watertown and surrounding areas to come into our ceremonies.
And we have a parade before the actual ceremony, which I think has quite a number of participants, especially if the weather's good.
I think we're looking at over 40 floats and bands and participants this year in the parade, Coleman.
Who's looked at the weather for Monday? Monday is Veterans Day. What's Monday look like at this point?
It's going to be cold and a chance of rain, Coleman.
Oh.
Emergency for that.
We do.
What's that contingency?
We're going to the courthouse.
Okay. All right.
So
Very good.
we are prepared. And
Well-
this year, by the way, the festivities started 8:00 at Cumberland University with a rededication of a monument, and moving of that monument,
Mm-hmm.
and the what is it, 192nd, 182nd,
196, I believe. Uncle.
196 band, National Guard band will be there, and then they will lead off the parade.
We got
So-
you got Commissioner Courtney Rogers going to be at. She's part of Tennessee Department of Veteran Services, going to be at Cumberland, and then you got Major General Jeff Holmes with the Tennessee Army National Guard, and they also have a colonel coming from Massachusetts that was in. That's in charge of the unit that the soldiers that died at Belotes Ferry in the World War II maneuvers.
Well, this really then is quite a ceremony starting at 8:00.
Yes, sir.
Jim, you got any part in it?
I hope not. I got enough to do.
Will you
I'm going to try to be there.
Okay.
I mean, if I can, but just depending on what disaster comes about before we get started on our program. But yeah, it's going to be a full day, and there's a lot of other activities Saturday and even today. There's activities going on.
For people that are moving or just have moved in the last few years to the Wilson County area, the maneuvers was quite a thing during World War II. It was a precursor to the invasion of France. And General George Patton was the commanding general of the program here. He didn't spend a lot of time in Wilson County, but his troops did. And they weren't just downtown. They weren't just at Cumberland. They were everywhere.
Tell me about it. I remember.
I forget, you were, what, 11, 12 during that time?
I was about 3 or 4 years old at the time.
I thought you was about 90-something years
I
old.
remember the tragedy at Averett Ferry.
So
I remember them talking about
Yeah, my dad, it really surprised me. My dad, he had been in Lebanon at Mount Juliet the morning of that at his uncle's. And the uncle had a wrecker. And Uncle John's wrecker, they carried it out there and 2 others to get the vehicle up out of the water.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
and I didn't know this until just a few days ago in talking to my dad. Said, yeah, I was there.
Well, we got a lot more to talk about, but it's time for us to take a break right here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:17. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still limping along up in Robertson County on that terrible crash on 65 southbound at the 107 mile marker. That's been one of our biggest delays out here in the area. Una Antioch Pike at Piccadilly Road. They reckon its clearing stage is heavy, but it's moving, looking good through Kingston Springs right now on 40 East. All that traffic flow coming in from Dixon County. Get the lowest prices on most of your airline tickets. SmartFare save you 70% off. Call 1-800-915-2544. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
You make plans for just about everything for the weekend, for a shopping trip, for your daughter's wedding, but do you have a financial strategy for the rest of your life? Now may be the perfect time to do it. Waypoint, your future, your way. For more information, call the Lebanon office of Waypoint Financial Partners at 615-444-6548. Securities and investment advisory services offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
This Sunday, the Titans are back at home at Nissan Stadium to host the Kansas City Chiefs. The award-winning Titans countdown happens at 11 a.m. Then voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, and Coach Dave McGinnis have all the action of Titans and Chiefs with a noon kickoff.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota Exmark, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steamwell Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. It is a Friday morning, and if you just joined us, let me set the table again. We have Jim Harding with us this morning, who is representing Mike Myers, president of the Vietnam Veterans of America, Post 1004. And Jim's going to be the master of ceremonies for the event we're talking about coming up Monday on Veterans Day. Pete Norman is here, Uncle Pete, commander of American Legion Post 15. John Marshall's here, post commander for the VFW of Lebanon.
50-15.
Pardon?
Post 50-15.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's not on there.
All right, whatever.
That messed you up.
We get started Monday early, as we talked about earlier, because Cumberland University has a dedication of their new entrance and the relocation of the World War II monument and plaque. And again, as we were saying earlier, at Cumberland, I don't know how much schooling, learning was going on when the maneuvers were during that period of time. But I mean, that was the location of what was happening in the preparation being made here for the invasion of Europe. And so it's this I think is a big thing at 8 o'clock Monday morning.
Huge.
And nobody disagrees. And then the Veterans Day Parade at 10 and the Veterans Day program at 11. And we'll talk a little bit about all this. Don't think we have mentioned in the parade who the Grand Marshal's going to be.
Well, Jim Henderson and his wife Beverly will be the Grand Marshals. And of course, everybody I hope knows how much time that Jim Henderson put into Veterans Affairs, and then he was Master of Ceremonies for several years.
Longer than we all want to think about, probably.
Yep, and like all of us, got a few health issues, so he's kind of retired from that. But we want to honor him and Beverly both for what they've done and contributed. So
I just, if I can express my own opinion here, I think this is a great selection, largely because of all Jim has done over the years for Veterans Day, maybe Memorial Day too at times, but especially Veterans Day.
Yeah.
So
And he also moved and set up the World War II Museum at the fairgrounds. You know, he gathered all that stuff that everybody else was throwing away back then at Cumberland and carried it over and put it in and made a museum out of it.
Okay. Well, kudos to Jim.
Yes.
Well, I'll for those, we have a lot of people who weren't around when he was at the radio station here. He was our award-winning news director back in the late 60s and early 70s here at WCOR. We've got some plaques on the wall out here.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He was good. He did a great job. Okay, well, Jim and Beverly will be Grand Marshals for the parade. Now, it starts, promptly at 10 o'clock?
Well, 11 o'clock.
The last
the parade.
The parade will start at 10. Well, we've been discussing that. They'll be out on the street at 10 o'clock.
The last float will be on the parade ground or headed towards the courthouse at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're going to actually start.
The first one will
bit.
start about 9:30. I've been doing this for years and years, and I know if it ain't out of there by 9:30, we're not going to get to the courthouse before 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So somebody tell us kind of what we could expect from the parade. John, I think you had mentioned earlier a number of floats and so on.
We got several high school bands, Coleman, and we also have all the ROTCs from Mount Juliet, Wilson Central, and Lebanon Junior ROTC is going to be marching in the parade for us. We have some Girl Scout troops, Boy Scout troops, Sheriff's Department, WEMA. The veterans are going to be out there either in a trolley, or Uncle Pete said he may have a van out there depending on the weather for the veterans. And we'll have 281, American Legion Post 281 will have their honor guard. They're out of Mount Juliet. They'll be out there for us. So we got a busy parade this year when, of course, the Lebanon Fire Department will be out there with a big ladder truck.
So all of that gets started before 10 o'clock and might be getting close to the square maybe.
Before 11.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes before 11.
All right. And
This year, Gladeville will have a band in the parade.
Gladeville?
Yes, sir. Gladeville Middle School will have a band.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you.
First time for them.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have the different bands.
Oh,
there.
yes.
And they really add a lot to it. Hopefully, when they pass by you, wherever you are on the parade route, they've got one going. Sometimes they're just marching. They don't play constantly.
No. We wish that the schools would let their students out for that day and make that a holiday. And so for all those parents and kids and stuff,
Did you hear Dr. Wright explain last Friday why we don't do that?
Yes, and I don't buy that. That's a bunch of hooey.
Well,
That's a bunch of hooey.
Now, you and I both know half of them would be.
They would, but half of them would probably go.
Maybe.
Only 35% vote. So if we got 35%, or 50%, we'd be doing better than the voters.
Let's talk about.
Yeah. Let me mention something on the parade that is the Red Star squadron based out here in Lebanon will do a flyover on the parade. Now, we've had Cumberland's going to have a flyover during their ceremony, and we in the past have had that more connected with the Veterans Day program, but sometimes planes don't start, or they got to put some oil in them, or they're smoking or something. And but we thought this year we're going to try it. It's going to overfly the parade route twice, and it'll be Russian and Chinese World War II fighter aircraft.
Where'd they come from?
China and Russia.
Well,
I knew you were going to ask that.
whose are they? They belong to John Ball.
Yes.
Do they really?
Ball started this group back years ago.
Yeah.
And he's very, he comes up from Florida for this.
Is he still flying?
I don't know that he is. His
I don't
wife
think
is.
he's on the list. Mike Russell, I think his nickname is Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yeah.
He's retired, and he's is the one that's coordinated this. But there'll be 6 aircraft planned right now to fly over, and that'll.
Okay, so we've got the Cumberland dedication and all of that at 8. We've got the parade starting at 10 and reaching the Veterans Plaza at 11 and disbanding. That's always been I don't know how they managed to do that, but evidently it's fairly orderly that when they reach their destination, they're able to disband and not create too much havoc. But you think of all that many people in a parade, and then all of a sudden they got to go somewhere, and they do. They sort of disappear.
Well, it's prior planning.
Okay.
That's what.
Well, let's get
to
to the program here because you've got a speaker. I hope I can come Monday. I hope it's not too cold and not raining. I want to hear what he has to say because I consider him a good friend, and he's one of the regulars here on my radio program. But he and I never talked much about his military career. So, Jim?
Scott Benson, the superintendent for the Lebanon Special School District, is going to be our speaker. He's a former Marine, participated
No. He is a Marine, never a foreman.
Well,
There's
being,
no
being,
former
a,
Marine.
being an Army man,
I'm sorry.
being an Army man, I just say it the Army way.
You know what? Pete's going to create a fight before he leaves today.
Well, no, I mean.
You are right about that.
I used to say that, and I would get eaten alive by half a dozen Marines after. So there is no former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine, unless you've been deflocked.
All right.
Having worked with the Marine Corps Reserve on Toys for Tots for 12 years, I understand that. But that don't mean that I'm going to accept it. So,
well,
as an Army man, so.
Mr. Benson, as he is known by most in the school system, Scott Benson will be the speaker for the occasion.
He will be. He participated in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, so he's going to be our speaker, and we know he'll do a good job, and I think people look forward to hearing from him. So we'll do that. We'll recognize the Gold Star mothers and families, and there'll be a wreath ceremony for honoring the veterans at the monument there. So we'll be through. It moves right on. We're not going to take up any more time than we have to, usually about an hour. Yes. And we get it in, and it's a good ceremony.
Well, it really is. And I've attended most of these in the last few years, and I hope that I think the only thing this year that might the weather will be the only thing to keep you from having almost perfect Veterans Day with all the planning that's gone into this, with the people that you got participating, and there's just something about a parade that people love anyway, and they usually line the streets on the parade route, and some of them get there early and pick their place, and that's fine, and I'm sure you appreciate that.
Well, I'm gonna challenge some of the pastors up and down that road. I'm gonna pull a George Patton on you. Pray for good weather. Okay. George Patton ordered his chaplain to do it, and it worked. Mm-hmm. So, hey, fellas, you guys have got to be as good as the chaplain.
I want to take just a moment before we close out, Coleman. There are any number of veterans recognition breakfasts and lunches, and I know a lot of the schools are having ceremonies. I just want to thank the community on behalf of all the veterans for that participation. It's almost like I don't think I can get to all of them that are going to be going on today, tomorrow, and on Monday, and thank you to the community.
And a special thanks to Don Fox. Don Fox started this parade. In the last few years, Don's health has not been good, or he would be here today. He can't talk. He's got sore throat. And, he's gone above and beyond to make sure we always have a parade. And I want to thank you, Don.
Yeah. Well, John, you've said less than anybody else.
It's hard to talk with these two, Coleman.
But we've got a minute and a half left, and anything that we've left out or anything you want to reiterate or anything you want to add here.
Well, I just want to be like Jim and Uncle Pete and reiterate to the community, thank you for supporting the veterans of Wilson County. They've every year they step up and do a tremendous job, from local businesses and mom and pops to chains, taking care of the veterans. And I do know that a number of the Wilson County schools are having programs on Veterans Day and today. So they may not be out of school, but at least they're doing something within the school system to teach the children what Veterans Day is about.
Mm-hmm.
So
one other thing we could say here, too, there have been a number of breakfasts that we have talked about, tried to give a little publicity to. I guess most of those are over, but there are a number of...
One getting ready to start. Liberty State Bank is having theirs this morning, Coleman.
Okay.
And then Southside School has got one at 9 o'clock.
All right, and then there are a number of restaurants that will give, maybe on Veterans Day, a free meal or a special discount, and I think that's much appreciated as well.
It is. It's huge appreciation. We want to thank the rest. They don't have to do it, but a lot of the restaurants do, and that's just thanking veterans for their service and what they did for this country. It's a huge deal.
Well, Jim Harding, thank you for putting the program together, inviting the guests here this morning. I just invited you, and you did the rest, and you brought me all the information, and like you always do, I appreciate it.
I always like to be helpful, Coleman. it's my duty to serve.
All right, well, that's part one of Coleman and Company. Pete Norman, John Marshall, Jim Harding, and Veterans Day coming up Monday. Stay with us for more. Part two next here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, and get $50 off $250 repair offer to owners of 4 to 10-year-old Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury vehicles. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Lanes now up in Robertson County. It's been causing a big mess up there on 65 southbound at the 107 mile marker. Now it's heavy out here trying to get past the airport. No surprise there. On 40 going westbound through Hermitage. Donaldson coming in from Wilson County has been in pretty good shape. Murfreesboro Pike and East Thompson Lane. There's just been a crash at that intersection. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. Check it out this weekend. 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Hey Medina, it's almost Thanksgiving, and we would like to thank all our customers who have put their faith and trust in us this year to take care of all their real estate needs.
We're thankful to live in a community where people do really care about each other.
Yes, let's stop and be thankful for what we have and not for what we want. Happy Thanksgiving!
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team, 443-3130.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, financing a new home isn't just about buying bricks and mortar. It's more like helping a neighbor build and grow in life, and you won't find anyone better equipped for that job than a friendly expert who's right down the street. Whether you're looking at new construction or a home equity line of credit, Wilson Bank and Trust will work with you on a home loan that's closer to home. Visit Wilson Bank and Trust online or in person when you're ready to take your next step in life, and you'll be glad you did. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Pavilion Senior Living residents are inviting you to become their new neighbor. If you're looking for a sign to move, call us at 444-5556 to learn more about the details. Or go to thepavilionseniorliving.com for more information. Or better yet, just drop by 1408 Medical Center Drive right behind Tenova Hospital and see for yourself. You should move here.
Why settle for an ordinary mower when you can have an Exmark zero-radius turn mowers that have been beautifying landscapes for more than 3 decades? Take advantage of Exmark's Triple Play sales event. Buy now and you'll pay no interest till March, no payment till April, plus $1,000 off all Radius X and S models. Buy now and restart your warranty till April 2020. Top landscape pros purchase Exmark 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main in Lebanon or visit them online at www.absolutekubota.com.
It will be a sunny end to the work week here in Middle Tennessee, but don't let that fool you. It will be chilly. Highs will only climb into the mid-40s this afternoon. If you're going to be out and about this evening, you'll want to have the big jacket. We'll see clear skies with lows dipping into the mid-20s. The sunshine will stick around right on through the weekend. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2 here on a Friday morning. It's time to talk about the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty and Miss Judy. all by herself this morning.
That's
Good morning.
right.
Well, Mike is actually here, but he's
still
got an
driving Miss
assignment.
Daisy.
He's got an assignment in the lobby to answer the phone or something. Anyway, but he brought me a second cup of coffee, which really I don't need this morning because
Oh.
Pete bought me some. But
Starbucks.
anyway, we're glad to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well, and we want to tell you, of course, that the same people of the C&D team are part of Exit Rocky Top Realty and have been for, I guess, a couple of years now. Same great service, people you can trust, and located right there on West Main Street. Have you changed your scenery in front of the...
Not yet. Mr. Mike is in charge of that, and it's coming down, I'm sure, in the next few days, and Santa Claus will be going up.
You got listings you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, we've got one on West Clay Drive we wanted to remind everybody about. It'll be having open house, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. It's 3 bedrooms and 3 full baths and 2 half baths. It's got a gourmet kitchen, all the bells and whistles, the master's on the main level. It's got a private backyard. It's there on West Clay Drive right off of Horn Springs Road, and it's $499.9. And it's vacant and ready for somebody to move into. But it's got everything you would want in a house with the extra 2 half baths with 3 full baths. That gives you really 5 bathrooms.
Yeah.
So anyway, would like for anybody want to come and see it. It's vacant. It's very easy to show. And I was going to talk a little bit about when you're thinking about putting your house on the market, some of the things you need to be thinking about is, we have what we call a Tennessee property disclosure that you have to fill out. And these are reasons why you need to use a realtor. People say, I'll just sell my house myself. Well, it's been shown that houses sell for more and stay on the market a less time with a realtor involved. And that's why realtors go to school, get the classes. We know the new laws. We know what's changing. We know the forms you need to fill out. That's why you need to call somebody that is a licensed agent to list your home. And there is a Tennessee property disclosure you have to fill out. And it will ask you things, how old is your air conditioner? What year was it made? And then like your air conditioner, you want to call the heat and air people, have them come out and check your unit before you put the house on the market. That way you know your unit's working properly and there's nothing going wrong with it that could show up on an inspection. It just saves you time later. You also want to know how old is your water heater? And does your water heater have a pan underneath it? Because there's a lot of codes now that when you have a home inspection, you're going to have to get done before you can sell the house.
Is that pan required?
It's required.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of houses, the pipe from the water heater is not running outside. So if it ran over, it's going into your room. That's why a lot of people have problems with coming home and your floor's all wet. So you need to make sure that you got that pan, because that pan does have, and they have cutoff valves on them, and the new water heaters do. So a lot of times you have an older water heater, so you need to kind of watch that. We just had a house the other day. People called us and they got up in the middle of the night and their water heater had bursted and water was going everywhere. So you check those things, even if you're not putting it on the market. And also you want to know how old your roof is. And did it have a 30-year warranty or 20-year warranty, or what kind of warranty did it have on it? People looking at your house is going to want to know that. What is the lifespan? If it's a 20-year warranty and it's only 10 years, then, it's going to be a little while before I got to replace the heat and air, or it's going to be a while before I have to replace the roof. They want to know these things, so as they're negotiating the price, is what am I going to have to spend on this house once I get into it?
Right.
And then on the property disclosure, it says, is your house in a floodplain? And a lot of people go, oh, no, my house is not floodplain. But you need to check, especially in the city limits. The FEMA maps changed in 2010. And a lot of people, their property is zoned in a flood zone now, and they don't know it. And they won't know it until they get ready to sell their house. So you can call up at the city and go up there and look at the flood map and make sure your home is not in that flood zone. Because you have to have flood insurance if it is, which, changes a lot of people's minds, because sometimes it can add $100 to your payment.
I am wondering how many people know the answers to all these questions here, like how old our water heater is.
Most people don't. We give them a list, and these are things you need to check for us, so that when you fill out the property disclosure, it's going to ask you, how old is this? How old is that?
So they have to do a little research.
And a lot of people, too, it says, is there any encroachments on your property? We find a lot of houses, especially in the city, years back, people would build, a house next door to the next house, and they'd put a shed in the backyard, and the roof is overlapping on those people's property. And sometimes over onto the driveway, because the houses, a lot of those only have 75-foot road frontage. And some of them have 50, like a lot of the houses over there close to Cumberland only had 50-foot road frontage back then, which, it's different now. But a lot of times the roof was over encroaching on the other people's driveway. So these things need to be settled and figured out, what are we going to do? And it's not like you got to go tear the garage down, but you have to disclose that to the prospective buyer, that they're okay, that they know those people's roof is kind of over, their garage is over a little bit over the line. Because back then, a lot of people would put a fence right on the line, and some people put it 5 foot in, 5 foot out. So a fence, you can't say, oh, that's the property line, is the fence. You need to know where those metal pins are. A lot of people haven't not gotten a survey over the years. In the city, it's easier because the lots are usually the four corners, the metal pins are there, and you can find them. But when you have big pieces of property, you need to, make sure there has been a recent survey.
Well, I got a feeling there's some people got some questions, and if they have questions, I'm sure you'd be glad for them to call and get an answer.
That's right. And we try to get you through these things. And, if you have a septic, have you ever had it pumped, or have you ever had any problem with outcropping of sewage or anything? Those are questions that we ask, and so that we can prepare you that when we get a buyer, they are going to be asking these questions, and we need to know the answers to them. Have you done any upgrade to your plumbing? Is it PVC pipe, or is it the old copper? What's underneath your house? Have you just changed it out under your sink, but not underneath the house? So there's all kinds of questions like that, because the copper piping, a lot of people have issues with that later. Yeah. And then some people, especially in the city, we find a lot of subdivisions, they think they're on sewer because their neighbors are, and they're still on septic. Because a lot of subdivisions were built, they were all on septic. Yeah. And we had that over in Westview Acres. Most people over there is on sewer now, but those houses were originally on septic. And if they have never been changed out, you don't know until the septic messes up, and then you find out you've been thinking you were on sewer all this time and you were on septic. So there's a lot of things like that. You just have to dig the information to find out. And realtors know how to do that. That's why you need to call a licensed agent.
All right. You're a good salesperson.
Well,
you're very convincing. Good job.
Well, we just call us anytime. We're ready to list houses. It's not too late. Even though it's the holidays, there's still people moving in here. And we got people from Chicago today that's moving down here after the first of the year. So they'll be looking. And so you got to have it on the market, got to have a sign in the yard if you want to sell it.
615-443-3130. Somebody answers that phone 24/7.
That's right.
Miss Judy, thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you, and have a good weekend. Stay warm.
You too. All right, and see you next Friday. Exit Rocky Top Realty's C&D team and Miss Judy, Judy Cox, taking care of things this morning. And as we usually close out, they say, don't make a move without us. Well, we're about 18 minutes away from the hour, and I've invited my friend Fred Van Hook to be with us this morning, and he's got another gospel music fest coming up that we're going to talk about. Fred, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you again. I hope you're doing well.
It's good to see you, sir.
Well, you're looking well.
You're looking younger every time I see you.
I don't look younger, but maybe I'm not too old. You and I have both been around longer than we want to talk about, but this is going to be your 46th annual gospel music fest.
Absolutely.
Well, you started, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. You're about to hang it up and say this is it, and then you change your mind. Is that about right?
Well, I don't know if I ever got to that point or not, but I said maybe I'm slowing down a little bit. But I would really like to make 50, but I'm not sure whether I will or not. But anyway, we live one day at a time, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Well, this is coming up not tomorrow night, but next Saturday, November 16th, right?
That's right. Saturday, November 16th, 6:30 p.m.
You have had these at different places, and I remember Baird Chapel at Cumberland. You were over at McFadden Auditorium for a long time. It was part of Castle Heights, and I don't know where else you've been, but at some point you started having this at the Capitol Theater. You know how many years at the Capitol?
I do. Actually, and it's hard to believe, but this will be my 7th year.
Really?
I was fortunate enough to have the first concert in the new Capitol Theater, the 7th. Brother Bob and all the folks there have just been so nice to us and worked with us, and it's a great program. We've got some great gospel music, and if folks have never been, they don't know what they're missing.
What's your capacity? Doesn't the fire marshal tell you and Mr. Bob how many people can be in there?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's around 563 or something like that.
What have you about sold out a few times, haven't you?
We have. We've overfilled it a few, not over the 563, but over the 500. But anyway, it's good seating. They have very comfortable seating, and you've got plenty of room to walk between the aisles too. Yeah. I like that, between the seats, and not step on anybody's feet, you know.
Well, how much does it cost? What are tickets going for?
Well, actually, they're $15 each. That's at the door price. And what we do, we have a group rate of 4 or more would be $12 each. So that's a good savings. Mm-hmm. You get some friends to come with you, and most everybody's buying in groups of 4 or more. And we appreciate that so much. But I tell you what, talking about a good program, and I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but I've told folks, I said, now, if you can leave this program and tell me honestly that you've not enjoyed it, not been blessed, had a great time, I'll give you money back.
You haven't had to give
anybody. I think Sparky is the only one that ever asked for his money back.
We're close to break time here, Fred. Just quickly summarizing, and we'll get into who's going to be there and a lot more about this 46th Annual Gospel Music Festival 2019, hosted by Fred Van Hook and the Harmoniers, coming up next Saturday, November 16th, 6:30 at the Capitol Theater. And got a lot more to talk about this after this break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, hay equipment, and more. Stop in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's busy out here as expected. 65 southbound here down through Madison, trying to get down to Trinity Lane, Holt Road at Redmond Lane. That's a wreck Nippers Corner. Also a wreck being moved from earlier, Murfreesboro Plank at East Thompson Lane. Still looks good. 40 East coming in from Dixon County up through Kingston Springs. Hey, get the lowest prices on most of your airline tickets. SmartFare save you 70% off. Call 1-800-915-2544. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Hi everybody, Tommy Bryant. Join me Friday at 6:30. Lebanon High Football takes on some of the very best competition, brought to you by Absolute Kubota, D.T. McCall and Sons, Kay Maynard State Farm Insurance, Bakes and Hooker, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Wilson Bank and Trust, Dickey's Barbecue Pit, and A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction. Lebanon visits Oakland Friday, November 8th in the first round of the playoffs.
Coleman and Company here on a Friday morning. Fred Van Hook is my guest. Fred is well known here in Lebanon. Fred, you, as far as I know, you've lived here all your life and once had a business here, Reed and Bland. And I sold you advertising years ago. You and Charles Lannis and Mr. Reed, Joe Reed, yeah. But you've gotten into real estate yourself in the last few years, last several really, and but this is something
going on 33 years.
This you started doing with Kenneth White in the beginning, as I recall.
Yes, and 1973, Ken and I both had separate groups, and we would sing together occasionally. And he said, "Let's put together a concert." And rather than call it a concert, we decided to call it a festival.
Mm-hmm.
Shortened that to Fest now. It's Gospel Music Fest. But anyway, Ken and I had the first one at Cumberland University in Baird Chapel, the old Baird Chapel. They had those theater seats and all that. And we had standing room only. So we decided then we needed a larger venue, so we went over to Castle Heights, talked with the folks there, and they were just tickled to death to have us come over and have our program at McFadden Auditorium. And, well, we filled it up a few times. You were there.
Oh, yes.
You broadcasted there.
I sure did.
And then, of course, they closed, I believe it was 1985, was it? And had to find another place, so we went back to Cumberland in the new theater over there, the Heidel Center.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years ago, Mr. Bob Black decided to revamp the old Capitol Theater, which was my alma mater. My first job was there, way on back.
And usher at the theater.
In fact, it hadn't been open very long when I went to work there, when I was in high school. And anyway, after when they closed down, and it was kind of a heartbreaker, but it was just a thrill to see it open back up. And they've done a wonderful job. It's a beautiful place. And I tell you, I don't think you could find a better place to sing at. The sound is great in there. And we're just happy to be there.
All right, we've got some tickets to give away. We've got 2 sets of 2 tickets to give away this morning, and MJ's going to answer the phone. But we're doing this in a unique way, and let's do this one here. If you've never been to the Gospel Music Fest, never been, and you're the first person to call right now, the radio station here, and the number to call is our contest information line, which is 444-0900. Call 615-444-0900. That's not the one you want. Which one you want? No, all right, call 9899. That's the one. Well, somebody else is on 900. Get this one on 900. That's the one I gave out. Now, if you've never been there, that's a qualifying question. This is for somebody who's never been to the Gospel Music Fest. You win 2 tickets, and we'll see who gets those. And tell us who's going to be there, Fred.
We got a great group lined up. We've invited the local group, the Doo-Wops, to come back. They were there last year and did a great job, and so we've invited them to come back and be with us. And we've also invited back the Commonwealth Quartet, who's been back a few times over the years. A great gospel group. They travel all over the country singing gospel music. And we've got a new group coming in, the Kingsway Quartet. The Kingsway, fairly local. One of their members lives, I think, in Mount Juliet. I'm not sure where they're all from. But the Kingsway is a great gospel, 4-man gospel group, and we're just looking forward to. And they have a lot of followers. I'm telling you, they're doing real good. And then we've got a group that's been around. This particular group, the individual's not been around that long, but they've been singing over 80-something years, and that's the Rangers Quartet. And it's changed, of course, many times down through the years, but Rick Bradley and all his friends are coming over, and they're a great gospel group. So we're looking forward to them being with us. And then the old faithfuls here, the ones that's here every time. We've been singing over 40 years. Fred Van Hook and the Harmoniers.
Who is with you now? You've always been part of it, I think.
Well,
you had to have been for it to have your name associated with it, but Lynn's been with you most all that time, hasn't she?
Yes, Lynn Winfrey is a great gospel singer. She's been with me all this time, and even before, she was with the group that I had before for a while. And then Janet Bain, I call her the newcomer in the group. She's been singing with me about 30 years. And then my daughter, Jeanette Harvey, and almost all her life she's been singing with me. And then my son, James Van Hook, sings our lead and takes care of our sound and all of that. He does a great job.
Well, how many you got all together here? Is that 5?
Yeah, that's 5 groups.
5 groups.
And
what kind of do each one have a set amount of time? Do you come back again, or what can you expect?
Actually, they just have one time on them.
Okay,
they got to get it right the first time.
Okay,
and they'll have about 25 minutes or so each on a show. And it always works out really good. And we have some other very special things that we do. And I'd like to mention that I am honoring the veterans in a very special way. I know you had some guests on here a while ago about that. And I do this every year, something special, but this is going to be extra special this year. And I don't want to give away is actually what we're doing, but anyway, it'll be worth your admission to the show.
All right. Where you get tickets? So do you need to buy them in advance?
Well, it would be better because I do expect to sell out, but the Cedar Stone Bank in Lebanon and Mount Juliet have tickets, and they can take care of you there. Century 21, West Main Realty, my office, they have them there. And, of course, I have them. You can call me. My number's on the flyer. And just give me a call.
All right, let's get back to this ticket giveaway. MJ, did we have a winner? We didn't. Okay, well we're gonna do 2 things here, and we got about 6 minutes here to wrap this up. But Fred has got 2 tickets for the for whoever can call, and let's call 9899 444 9899. If you've never been to the Gospel Music Festival, 2 tickets if you're the first one to call and claim them, and then anybody who has not been to the Capitol Theater. If you've never been to the Capitol Theater, this would be your first time to go. There's 2 tickets for you if you're the first caller.
Since it's been remodeled.
Since it's been, since it's been remodeled, right. Okay. You said that this is your 46th time. You'd like to do 80. You've had a lot of different groups, and there are a number of different styles of gospel music that you have featured. I mean, you haven't stayed with just all the. I mean, it's there used to be the Statesmen and the Blackwood Brothers, and their style was kind of it. Not completely, but that was the. But there's been more variations in more recent years, I think.
Well, that's right. Of course, a lot of people like the good 4-part harmony of the men, and of course we've got that. We've got 3 groups that are strictly 4-part harmony with all male, and of course my group is a mixed group. We've been that way ever since we were formed, and then the doo-wops, they're different. As you know, they sing the music from back in the 50s and the 60s and all of that normally, and but they say their greatest love is gospel music, and so we have a pretty good mixture of music. Well, did we get a winner?
We've got a winner, Joy Bishop.
Oh, great!
Never been to the gospel festival. So she wins the tickets for that.
How about that?
First time to the Gospel Music Festival. Joy Bishop. We still got 2 more if it would be your first time to come to the Capitol Theater since it's been remodeled. And you can claim them. Call MJ, 615-444-9899. We mentioned Lynn Winfrey. She going to be singing twice?
Well, actually, she is. Yeah,
she's with the doo-wops. She's with Fred Van Hook and the Harmoniers.
That's right.
She can't get enough singing.
I know. I don't think you can slow her down.
Well, does her singing style pretty much the same with both groups?
Well, yeah, basically.
Whatever part she sings with both of them.
You know, that is something that's kind of unique about our group. Everybody sings more than one part. They can switch parts.
Yeah.
One of the ladies will say, "Hey, you do the alto, I'll do the tenor or the lead or whatever, you know." And so all 3 of them can do that. And my son and I kind of hanging on the lead and the bass, but we kind of switch it.
That's what I was thinking. You could do both of those, and James can too. Well, you're kind of versatile.
All right. We might have another winner here.
Got a winner.
All right.
Georgia Bain. Georgia Bain has never been to the Capitol Theater since it has been remodeled. She gets the other 2.
She is going to be blessed just to be at the building. just to attend the Capitol Theater.
They did do a great job in remodeling that, and it's built for the versatility of it, because there's a lot of different kinds of events that you can have there, because you don't just have the theater seats like it once was when you went to the picture show.
Yeah, they take them out and move in tables. You know?
Right. Yeah. Well, we're about to get out of time here, but Fred's got 5 different groups, and it's next Saturday night, Saturday, November 16th, starting at 6:30. Now, I was kind of by the time frame you gave there. I'm guessing it'll be over maybe by 9 o'clock or so.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. So 2.5 hours. And you did say that if somebody came and bought a ticket for $15, or even if it's a group of 4 at $12 a piece, and they don't have a good time, they aren't blessed, you give them their money back.
That's right.
You never had you have to give back one time. You said, I think you were joking.
I do want to say that they need to come early.
Yeah.
Start getting early, because the seats are not reserved, and it's first come, first served.
What about parking? Can you park over across the street in the old bank parking lot?
Normally lets us park over there. They open the gate over there, and we'll park behind the old bank. And, of course, the square has a lot of parking, new parking lot over there now, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of parking beside the building. So, but we usually don't have that problem.
But you're expecting a full house, and this is the 46th Annual Gospel Music Fest 2019, hosted by Fred Van Dyke and the Harmoniers, next Saturday, November 16th. The tickets are available at Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, and Mount Juliet, from you and at your office at
Century 21 West Main Realty.
Fred, thanks so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate you, and nice to have you again.
Thank you.
All right. That's going to do it for this Friday, for this week. I hope you have a nice weekend, everybody. And until Monday, I wish you a fantastic